This is The Leaf Detective, How Margaret Loman Uncovered Secrets in the Rainforest. This is written by Heather Lang and illustrated by Jana Christie, read to you by Mrs. Tabaka. I used Epic Books to find a copy of this book. We are part of our ecosystem, not outside it. Margaret Canopy Meg Loman. Meg loved how leaves burst into the world and unfurled. She admired their different shapes, colors, and textures. After 20 years of thinking about them, reading about them, studying them, Meg wanted to understand them, to discover their stories. How did they survive? How long did they live? Why did they die? But looking at leaves from the ground gets a rainforest scientist only so far. Meg knew she had to find a way to go to the leaves, to the treetops. We had already been to the moon and back, and nobody had been to the top of a tree. Before 1979, most of the scientists studied rainforest treetops through binoculars. Some also cut trees down or sprayed them with chemicals and collected the dead leaves and insects that fell to the ground. Meg Loman had been a leaf detective ever since she was a young girl in the 1950s in Elmira, New York. Shy and studious, Meg rarely spoke in school. It pained me if I was even called on in class. Instead, she found comfort in friendship and quiet excitement in plants. She built tree forts and collected twigs, leaves, and wildflowers to study and identify, to press and label swamp thistle, devil's paintbrush, forget-me-nots. I was literally the only one in my town like myself. Meg wrapped herself in nature like a soft blanket. In college, Meg fed her passion with science. She was a young woman in a jungle of men with no women to lead the way. One professor refused to let her in his class because she was a woman. Still, she stuck like sap to her passion and followed it to graduate school and the tropical rainforest of Australia. No one at Sydney University had studied the rainforest before. Tropical rainforests receive at least 60 inches of rain per year. The hot, humid environment encourages lots of different plants to grow. This diversity supports a huge variety of animal species. In the dark, damp forest, the trees rose up to distant rustling, squawks and screeches, shadows in the treetops. How could she get up there? Using seatbelt straps, Meg sewed a harness. From a metal rod, she welded a slingshot. Pull, aim, release, fire. Meg launched a lead weight on the line again and again, until at last it caught around the sturdy branch of a coachwood tree. Most rainforest trees are between 60 and 150 feet tall. Their branches form the canopy, a big umbrella that shades the forest floor. At first, Meg flailed. Upside down, right side up, the steamy forest painted her with a coat of sweat. Swinging and twisting, she dangled like a worm on a hook. I was frozen with fear. Meg inched up the rope, but she worried. What if the branch breaks? Will my sewing hold up? Will a bird peck through my rope? What sits waiting in the treetops? At last, splashed with flowers and sunlight, the canopy. The treetops swayed back and forth. Flies whizzed. Lizards lingered. A black weevil sucked leaf juices. Sweet bees landed on her arm for a lick of salt. And the jungle's music danced all around her. From then on, I never looked back or down. To Meg, it was a secret world with brilliant parrots and sleepy koalas, slithering pythons, and busy ants. And leaves, lovely leaves, large and small, shiny and prickly, tender and tough. To scientists, it was a new frontier, mysterious and unexplained. Many people in Australia didn't understand Meg. They thought the rainforests were dark and gloomy and full of snakes. They wanted to cut them all down. You can't do this, people said. You're a woman. Women don't climb trees. Meg ignored them. Rainforest Mysteries called her to climb and discover. She climbed the red cedar and the Antarctic beech and sassafras. She explored the stinging tree. It defended itself. Its pincushion leaves tore at her skin, and chemical hairs injected poisons with a fiery sting. Trees can't run away from their enemies like animals can, so instead they have to make a lot of defenses: thorns, fuzzy leaves, toxins. By the 1970s, deforestation, the clearing of forests by humans, had become a serious problem in Australia and around the world. Scientists guess that more than half of our forests have already been destroyed. Plant chemicals can be used as medicines for humans. For example, chemicals from the rosy periwinkle found in Madagascar provide a cure for leukemia. We've learned how to use only a very small number of the world's medicinal plants. On each tree, Meg numbered leaves, on different branches at different heights. She monitored and traced them to find out how long they lived. Hour after hour, day after day, she worked alone in the treetops. I found these times alone to be very strengthening, as they encouraged me to develop confidence in myself. With each new climb, Meg discovered nibbled edges, lacy skeletons, and leaves that vanished, quick as a snake's prey. She wondered, what is eating all of these leaves? One night, outside her tent, Meg heard sounds in the darkness. She crept into the forest. Noises swarmed around her, munching, crunching, chewing. With her headlamp, Meg scanned the leaves of a coachwood tree and discovered walking sticks and beetles feasting. To my amazement and delight, most herbivores fed at night. Herbivores are animals that eat plant material. Meg discovered that 15 to 25% of tropical rainforest leaves are eaten every year, mostly by insects. To insects, a tree is not just a tree. It's a salad bar and all-you-can-eat leaves. To birds and mammals, a tree is a buffet. Juicy fruits and plump beetles, salamanders and frogs. A tree is a sponge, soaking up water from the forest floor. And a recycler, giving water back to the clouds, ready to quench another day's thirst. When animals eat leaves and feed on dead and weak trees, they return nutrients to the soil through their digestion, nourishing trees and future seedlings. Trees release water from their leaves in a process called transpiration. This water forms rain clouds. Moisture from the Amazon affects rainfall as far away as Texas. Meg tried to climb at night, but dangling from a rope, studying leaves is difficult and dangerous in a dark forest with deadly snakes and spiders and ravenous biting ants. She had to find a better way. She brainstormed with other scientists. She thought and imagined, what if I fly up in a balloon? Or work from the edges of hillsides? Or train a monkey? Then one night, at one of her research sites, she and a friend had a brilliant idea. A trail through the treetops made with ladders instead of ropes. They sketched the plan on a napkin. Meg helped invent the world's first canopy walkway. Now she could research day and night in good weather and stormy, alone and with others. Meg loved to give tours on the canopy walkway. Now Australian people wanted to visit the rainforest. In 1988, Meg and Peter O'Reilly designed the canopy walkway at his rainforest retreat in Queensland, Australia. It had 3 suspension bridges and reached a height of 110 feet. Meg returned to the United States and designed more walkways. She experimented with other ways to explore the forest canopies. In Cameroon, Africa, she joined a team of scientists who launched a hot air balloon that placed a raft on the treetops. Meg couldn't wait to stand on top of the canopy. She had never been there before. In the sweltering heat, Meg struggled up the rope, through the forest's understory. She wondered, what sits waiting on the treetops? The heat drained her energy, and she drained her water bottles. The climb seemed never ending. At last, Meg reached the treetops and climbed up through a hole onto the raft. Spread out before her as far as she could see, trees, beautiful trees, millions of years in the making, filled with life, giving life. But it struck her, what good is my research for the trees, for the animals, and for the people when the chainsaws are coming? If we do not conserve rainforests, all of our data will reference extinct organisms or sites that used to be. It can take 60 million to 100 million years for a rainforest to form. Many of our rainforests existed when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Every minute, about 34 acres of forest are destroyed, the size of 26 American football fields. To some people, a tree is just a tree, good for timber or rubber or paper. To others, it's just a tree taking up land they could use to raise cattle and grow coffee or soybeans. Rainforest trees clean our air, absorbing a gas called carbon dioxide and providing oxygen, the gas we breathe. When we cut down trees, they release those gases back into the atmosphere, and we will never again clean our air. Back in the United States, as she wrote up her research, Meg worried about the trees. She wondered, how can one leaf detective make a difference? How can I save the trees? I must save the trees. And then an idea crawled into Meg's thoughts, a way to speak for the trees. Plants gave me a voice. Meg traveled back to Cameroon and spoke to the villagers about the gifts their rainforest had to offer. She taught them to climb trees and survey the forests, to identify and collect orchids and ferns, and now they could sell crops and plants instead of trees. Some of our favorite treats are grown in the rainforest, including chocolate, cinnamon, and pineapples. Meg took her battle to other countries. In Western Samoa, she convinced the people to build a canopy walkway. Now they could make money to build a school by sharing their rainforest with the world through canopy tourism. In Ethiopia, Meg persuaded the people to gather rocks from their fields and build stone walls to protect their last lonely patches of trees. Now, first and foremost, I ask, how can we save it? So that later I can return and ask, what and why? In northern Ethiopia, most of the forests have been cleared for agriculture. The only forests left are in churchyards and cover just 5% of the land. Meg is working with the priests and villagers to protect these forests. Meg used her voice to inspire people to save their rainforests, to save themselves, because to Meg, a tree is not just a tree. It's a shelter for animals and people, a recycler and provider of water, a creator of food and oxygen, an inventor of medicine, a soldier against climate change. It is essential for life on Earth. If only I could have achieved as much as the tree, but I have not. I have whittled away at relatively small goals in comparison to the grander accomplishments of a tree. I hope you enjoyed The Leaf Detective. This author, Meg Lowman, has done such amazing work helping to save our rainforests, and I hope that you can be a part of her quest to help